On Mother's Day in 1986, a group of teens gathered at the Episcopal High School in Portland, Oregon, just before midnight to set out on an adventure. All sophomores were forced to participate in an adventure program, and their objective was to climb Mount Hood. What transpired next was a tale of tragedy and loss that's remembered every year at the institution it permanently altered. For the detailed story about the 1986 Mount Hood tragedy, stay tuned and watch the video until the very end. For more interesting content and videos like this, subscribe to our channel, Adventure Uncovered. And also, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified whenever we post a new video. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. During a trip to Mount Hood in May of 1986, 8 Oregon Episcopal school students and 2 staff members perished. The students were taking part in an adventure course that was mandatory for sophomores at the institution. After an avalanche on Mount Rainier in 1981 that killed 11 lives, the catastrophe ranks as the second deadliest alpine mishap in North American history. Base Camp, an educational program based on the Outward Bound concept, was offered at Oregon Episcopal at the time and was required of all 10th graders who were going to climb Mount Hood in 4 different groups. By placing them in a demanding setting that demanded problem-solving and teamwork, the goal was to help pupils flourish. The founder of Outward Bound, Kurt Hahn, once stated that the experience of helping a fellow man in danger, or even of training in a realistic manner to be ready to give his help, tends to change the balance of power in a youth's inner life. The group of pupils collected carabiners, seatbelts, and Prusik slings just like many other students before them. Crampons, a field stove, a sleeping bag, a sizable nylon tarp, and 2 first aid kits were among the items that they gathered. They were given ice axes and helmets later at the Timberline Lodge, a sprawling building that serves a sizable ski area slightly west of the route that they could walk. Compasses, a set of long wands to mark their route up and down, and a robust shovel made for digging through icy, bulky snow were also carried by the squad. Thomas Goman, the school's chaplain and Episcopal priest who is 42 years old, nestled at the front of the bus as it rumbled off in a 90-minute ride to Mount Hood. A capable lady who had never scaled a mountain before, Marion Horwell, the Dean of Residence and Student Affairs, was also on board to support her institution. Only Sharon Spray, who was traveling with her daughter Hillary, was a parent. Goman's group departed Timberline that May night around 3 a.m. and encountered temperatures that were just above freezing. The splendor of Mount Hood's ice-covered landscape may be almost unearthly. There are numerous fumaroles, or volcanic steam vents, around the mountainside. When they're active, they release silvery plumes of mist into the atmosphere, which illuminates the moonlit nights. The majority of climbers use a route up the south slope, starting from the Timberline Lodge parking lot. This WPA-built building served as a model for the Erie Mountain Hotel in The Shining. The eastern edge of the Timberline ski resort is skirted by the first stage of the 5,249-foot ascent. Before we move on with this incredible story, for more interesting content like this, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Also, don't forget to hit that bell icon to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. Summers was finally successful in persuading Goman to change his mind at 2 p.m, when everyone was over 11,000 feet and the winds were blowing fiercely. Summers had advanced 30 or 40 feet on his own before realizing the situation was simply unstable. He started speaking erratically at 3:30 p.m. He stumbled and fell over, just wanting to sleep. The gang now had to descend several hundred feet and was gathered close to the Hog's Back. The climbers would have been visible from Timberline Lodge on a clear day as black dots on Hood's dazzling surface. However, there was now only about 20 to 30 feet of sight. Summers fumbled with his field stove settings as this was happening, lighting the burner and bringing the water to a boil while dissolving 2 lemon drops in it. He left in a short while to meet up with the other members of Portland Mountain Rescue. They arrived in the middle of a storm at the foot of the Mount Hood with their stuff in blue and white Suburban that virtually dragged its silencer as it traveled. At 5:21 a.m., the PMR team arrived at Timberline. The Sheriff's Journal notes a flood of arrivals, so the rescuers, men and women, came out nonetheless. PMR came first at 5:21. The ground crew from the 304th Recovery Squadron, an Air Force pararescue outfit, arrived at 8:53. Other teams began to show up throughout the morning, with some bringing Tucker snowcats, large, hefty, all-terrain vehicles that weighed more than 2 tons each. 2 at a time, the students and adults entered the little area while on their hands and knees through a 3-foot entryway that went slightly uphill. Their bodies were forced through, arms pressed in snow, legs crossed across the body. The cave's inadequate size was soon obvious. They were attempting to fit 13 people inside when it could only fit 6. Inside, the space seemed cramped, and soon, body heat caused the walls to thaw. Anyone in the middle was submerged in a small pool of ice water created by the accumulation of snowmelt on the cave floor. The students, terrified, were all having trouble breathing. According to one of the survivors, everyone was panicking about the air. Schuler noticed the shovel, a vital piece of equipment for maintaining the entry open, lying in the snow as they descended, sliding down a steep slope. However, they very well may have perished if they had turned around and walked back up the slope. Instead, they plodded onward, continually moving in the wrong direction, step by step. They arrived at the Mount Hood Meadows Lodge, a ski resort about 2 miles east of Timberline, a few hours later at 9:50 a.m. Kelsey's group spent hours camped out since they were exposed to the elements and being buffeted by the storm's final gusts. At 5:45 a.m., just after daybreak, they observed 2 black spots on the side of what is known as White River Canyon. Volunteers would spend 5,874 hours on the mountain by the mission's end. The Corvallis Mountain Rescue, the Hood River Crag Rats, Alpine Ambulance, the Mazamas, and Seattle Mountain Rescue were just a few of the alpine rescue organizations from Oregon and Washington from which they would hail. Numerous firefighters, police officers, volunteers from the American Red Cross, the Mount Hood Snowmobile Club, and the German Shepherd Surge Dogs of Washington State were present. Wednesday came and went without any new developments. When the weather finally cleared, the harm had already been done. The climbers' footprints were completely gone. A rescuer described it as like the mountain had been wiped with a trowel. The school's insurance company offered payments to the families of the 7 deceased students. In September of 1986, the McGinnis family chose a different course and filed a wrongful death claim. Cecil Drinkwood, the chairman of the Oregon Episcopal School Board, submitted an affidavit to Multnomah County Circuit Court on December 7, 1987, asking for the action to be postponed. This was 15 months later. And that was all for today. If you liked the video, then please give us a big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to receive notifications. Also, express your valuable thoughts in the comment section below, and feel free to spend some time watching some other videos on our channel. But until then, goodbye.